a top Kremlin official has accused US President Donald Trump of launching an act of war against Russia following fresh sanctions on Moscow's largest oil companies and the cancellation of a planned summit with President Vladimir Putin. Dmitry Medvedev, deputy chairman of Russia's Security Council and a former president, made the remarks on the messaging app Telegram, warning that Trump's latest actions mark a direct confrontation with Russia. Medvedev said, "If any of the many commentators still harbored illusions, here you go. The US is our enemy, and their talkative peacemaker has now fully taken the road to war with Russia." The comments underline Moscow's alarm over the sanctions, which target Rosneft and Lukoil, two of Russia's most powerful energy companies, in a bid to pressure the Kremlin toward negotiations over the war in Ukraine. Trump has long portrayed himself as a peacemaker, claiming he could have prevented Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February 2022 and frequently branding the conflict as President Joe Biden's war. Yet, the White House's decision to impose sanctions signals a sharper stance, aligning US policy with broader Western efforts to cut Moscow off from revenue streams that fuel its military campaign. Medvedev, known for his blunt and often provocative statements on social media, lashed out at Trump in unfiltered terms, saying, quote, "Yes, he doesn't always actively fight on the side of Banderite Kyiv yet, but this is now his conflict, not senile Biden's." The term Banderite refers to controversial World War II-era Ukrainian nationalist Stepan Bandera. He added, "Of course they'll say he couldn't do otherwise, that he was pressured in Congress, etc. That doesn't change the main point. The decisions made are an act of war against Russia." Medvedev also criticized Europe's response, claiming that Trump has, in his view, sided fully with what he calls Mad Europe, pointing to the European Union's 19th sanctions package against Moscow. The EU's latest measures target Russian energy revenues, financial institutions, and the so-called shadow fleet of oil tankers, which Moscow has used to evade sanctions. While Russia's official government response has been relatively muted, the Foreign Ministry described the US sanctions as counterproductive. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky welcomed the sanctions, calling them a fair and absolutely deserved step that could bolster efforts to pressure Russia toward negotiations. However, Ukrainian lawmakers have cautioned that while the measures are significant, they are unlikely to produce an immediate ceasefire or peace agreement. Trump also shelved plans for a face-to-face summit with Putin in Hungary this week, stating he did not want a wasted meeting. Moscow responded by saying its conditions for ending the war remain unchanged since Putin met Trump in Alaska in August. The cancellation reflects rising tensions between the US president's political positioning and the Kremlin's expectations. As the world reacts to these sanctions, the Kremlin, Kyiv, and Western capitals will all be calculating their next steps. The situation remains fluid, and the unfolding developments underscore the delicate balance between diplomacy, economic pressure, and the ongoing realities of a war that has already reshaped international relations in Europe. The coming days and weeks are likely to reveal whether Trump's sanctions and summit cancellation will succeed in pushing Moscow toward negotiations, or if Medvedev's warnings of an act of war signal a deeper escalation in the conflict. Analysts and leaders alike will be watching closely as this high-stakes geopolitical drama continues to unfold.